Africa, tonight we start with something heavy, something that should never have to trend, never have to be debated, and certainly never have to be demanded again and again. Across South Africa today, women said enough, and they said it not with the shouting, not with the marches, and not even with the hashtags, but with absence. Women across the nation staged the shutdown. They stayed home, avoided spending, wore black, and refused to participate in the system that keeps failing them. Yeah, a quiet protest that said more than any microphone ever could. This shutdown was organized by Women for Change, who are demanding that South Africa should declare gender-based violence a national disaster. And honestly, if this is not a national disaster, I don't know what is. Let me give you the reality, because these numbers don't whisper, they scream. A woman has been murdered every 3 hours. Nearly 130 rapes were reported per day last year. Femicide is 5 times higher than the global average. 5 times. 5. Yeah, South African women are not living in a country. They're surviving in a threat simulation. So tonight, before we joke, before we analyze, before we laugh at the insanity of politics and society, we stand with every woman who stayed home. We stand with every woman who couldn't stay home because life still demands rent and reality. We stand with every victim whose story couldn't make the news. Now, of course, governments only act when something becomes national disaster. Lord said in national disaster. Electricity tariffs, national disaster. Bafana losing on penalties, national disaster. But women being killed every 3 hours? Oh, we will get to it after tea break. Some African officials act like declaring gender-based violence a national disaster is the same as asking them to donate a kidney. Yeah, they're like, oh, but if we declare it a national disaster, we must do something about it. So we rather forming a committee to discuss disaster committees? Meanwhile, the women are like, okay, you don't want to shut down the country? Okay, we will. And guess what? It worked. You know how serious it was? Even the men noticed. When the men walked outside today, the malls were empty, the workplaces were quiet, and the salons were closed. And for the first time, a South African man walked into the shop and said, why is there no line today? And the cashier said, because the people who usually organize your life are on strike, sir. Just imagine the scene at home. Baby, what's for dinner? No women's economy today. But I'm hungry. Then you go and declare national disaster, my guy. Yeah. Let me tell you something. Men today were forced to face 2 national threats at once. Gender-based violence and self-cooking. Brothers were googling how to boil water. Others were like, I can't stay home. It's too quiet. That's how Femicide report feels. Empty. Yeah, for once the silence actually taught something. Now, of course, South African politicians released the usual statement. We take gender-based violence seriously. Translation, we will tweet something and then return to meetings about stadium upgrade. Some even said we condemn the shutdown because it harms the economy. Oh yes, the same economy have been harming since 1994 suddenly matters when women stopped shopping for a day. Some minister actually said we can't declare gender-based violence a national disaster because it does not meet the criteria. So, people are being murdered. What kind of criteria are you waiting for? Lord said in levels? Oh, gender-based violence level 6. Like, tonight between 8 p.m. and 10 p.m., please avoid being a female in certain high-risk zones. Is that what you're waiting for? There are countries where a national disaster is an earthquake. But in South Africa, the national disaster is simply being a woman. But today, women flipped the script. They reminded the country that silence is powerful, absence is powerful, and collective refusal is powerful. A whole nation felt the difference when women stayed home. Imagine if the government matched that power with action. Yeah. Imagine South Africa where women are not protesting for their lives, but they are living their lives. Imagine South Africa where a 3-hour murder statistics doesn't exist. Imagine South Africa where a national shutdown is replaced by a national safety. It's possible, but only if leaders stop treating gender-based violence a women's issue, but start treating it as a national emergency. So to every woman who stood in silence, we hear you, we see you, and we support you. And to government, if you declare a national disaster is too much work for you, no problem. Just copy and paste the same document used for load shedding. Because honestly, this is a much bigger crisis than ESCOM ever was. This has been Let's Feed Africa with me, Gilbert Drapari, standing with women, standing for safety, and gentlemen. Please wash your own dishes tonight. Thank you for watching, and please do not forget to subscribe. We'll be right back.